Aaron comes from Jacksonville, North Carolina, Democrat.
Yes, thank you for C-SPAN. I'm a active duty Marine officer. I was in a unit that actually provided support to the Georgians during the time they were doing what we call foreign internal defense and cross-training of the Georgian forces. I just had one comment and two questions. First of all, corporate media really has skewed this issue. You hit the nail on the head. People are thinking that the Russians overpowered the Georgians, when in all actuality it was the Georgians' actions that sparked this place. The Caucasus has always been a hotbed. We were just thinking that eventually this is going to happen. Two questions, though. Do you think Saakashvili made this move knowing that the Bush administration was his last hope and that he would get some type of international support, and that he doesn't think that the Republicans will win this election, so he figured I'd better strike the iron while it's hot, while I could get support? And the second question is, you think Saakashvili knew that he would lose any military confrontation with the Russians because of the Russian war machine? And do you think with him, quote-unquote, losing a confrontation with Russia, it would embarrass the Russian government with this act of occupying areas in a sovereign country? Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you, caller.
That's very interesting. So you were, I guess, one of the military trainers there. There've been a relatively small number of U.S. military trainers and facilitators on the ground in Russia. In Georgia. That the Georgian military is sort of U.S. trained and directed in terms of how it's developed its force structure and so forth. On your second question, that's a very interesting one. I don't know whether this, from Saakashvili's vantage, was a gambit designed to fail and embarrass Russia. By his reaction to it this week, it would appear that Saakashvili had no inkling that Russia would carry it as far as it did. Again, that may be dissembling, I don't know. And as to whether he thought he was going to get some kind of different level of response and support from the West, he has said as much, that he thought that the initial response from the West was too weak and that Russia doesn't understand that kind of language and so forth. And he was couching it in terms of rhetorical support, political support, not military. He's not overtly asked for, American tanks or anything. But obviously that question has been asked elsewhere. And you heard Secretary Gates yesterday really add very, very few of the kind of qualifiers that American cabinet secretaries usually add when they are about to take something off the table. Take it off the table. I mean, he said it's just, we're not contemplating that. I don't foresee that as an option here. Interestingly enough, later in the press conference, after outlining a few reasons that he thought that the crisis was diffusing, he said that was the context in which I took it off the table. But we've spent 45 years trying really hard not to have this fight with Russia. And we're going to keep trying that. So he was essentially saying, we're not sending tanks to Georgia. It's not happening.